Okay, we're back at the Tired Landlord house. I'm going to give you the final tour. It's complete, it's done, it's on the market, it's finished. So I'll give you a look at what it looked like before. If you haven't seen any of the other videos on this property, purchased this from a tired landlord who was just done with the house, and it was a big project on a small house. I'll show you what we did. I'll show you what it looked like before. I'll run over some of the numbers with you as far as what it costs to get it to where it is now from where it was before, and tell you about the time frame it took to get it here. Let's go check it out. So here's after we probably already filled up 2 dumpsters, ripping things out, ripping the sheetrock out and getting it down to the studs. So all the new wood there, all the new studs that you see replaced old studs that were bad or had some sort of issues. So this is us starting to put it back together to give you an idea of all the work that went on behind it, behind the walls, and, ripping stuff out, all the demolition. The plumbers came back in. They've already got their water lines ran at this point. The new windows are in, and a lot of, the stuff that was bad has been taken out, replaced, as you can see from all the framing. And this is what it looked like before, and now when we start putting it back together, we'll show you what we got into there. So we'll start outside. The concrete driveway was one thing that I was not expecting to have to put in. It had a nice gravel driveway that we had actually installed and would work pretty good for this neighborhood in this area. And then the city came along when we had to do our final inspections and told us that the new ordinances didn't allow, from the level of work that we did on the house, that we had to bring up the driveway as well, which required concrete or asphalt. So that set us back about $4,000 there. And then on the outside here, we were lucky that the siding that was on it was good. So we just did a full exterior paint job. Let me know what you think about the white with a white trim. I had 4 different people come up after we had painted it, neighbors and other people, just, curious folks in the neighborhood saying, "Oh, what color are y'all going to paint it?" And I'm looking at it like, we just painted it and it's going to be white. So let me know what you think about the white on white. We did do a little bit of accent color on the railing for the deck and the doors, that light blue. But we also, when you're thinking about doing a flip and where the money and the budget's going to go, a lot of things you may not think about is, grass or driveways that you weren't planning on, or, giving the house the extra pop, so like that pergola, the horizontal fence, may or may not be on your radar. But, this house is a small house, but it had a small yard as well. So we wanted to do a little something to give it some pop, maybe make up for the smaller lot size. So the backyard, the horizontal fence, I think, came out well. Let me know what you think about that. And then the pergola as well. New AC system there. Cost money, of course. This house was on window units before, and so we had to do all new duct work, all new units, run all that as well. So added expense there. But in total on this house, we got into it for about $85,000, start to finish. And I think when I started, I was anticipating a budget somewhere around $50,000. So not quite double, but definitely not quite $50,000. So, when it comes down to, outlets, when you take a house down to the studs and then do work on the studs themselves, you got to pay to take all that stuff out. You got to pay for the dumpsters. You got to pay for the demo crew or whoever's going to be, removing all that and putting it in the dumpster. And then, so you've already spent a bunch of money and you haven't even really started putting it back together. And then when you start moving out, everything has to be put back together, literally everything. When you've got a house that's, not as intense of a remodel or a refresh as this one, the sheetrock's already there. You might take that for granted that now, when we rip it down to the studs, we have to buy all the sheetrock. We have to install all the sheetrock, tape, float, texture the sheetrock, and then paint the sheetrock, and then baseboard trim, floors, outlets are all ripped out. Put in some USB-C outlets there. And so when you go down to the studs, everything has to be replaced as well when you put it back together. So, this house is pretty much brand new. You saw where we had it down to bare bones. The insulation behind the walls, if you're not going down to the studs, then whatever wall covering, normally drywall, sheetrock is on the walls. Everything behind that, you don't have to spend money on, so you don't have to spend money on the sheetrock. You don't have to spend money on the insulation behind it. And then you don't, have to do anything with the framing or the studs that are behind that as well. So you're saving quite a bit of money there. But when you do go down to the studs, everything has to be redone. So that's why, $126 a square foot, I think, is approximately what we ended up being at on the remodel here. And so it's because that all the way down to the studs, everything has to be rebought, reinstalled, redone. I mean, you're talking, the mailbox has to be redone on this house. The driveway was a surprise. We thought we were done. We had already actually taken pictures, and then they came for the final inspection and hit us with the driveway. So then that set us back about a week and a half, wait for the concrete guys to get there, do the driveway, and, then have the house re-inspected, pictures retaken of the outside, and then get it listed. And so on this one, I think the time frame on this house, I think we had 3 projects going on at this time. So it took us 6 months, with everything from, I think we bought it at the beginning of June and finished it like right at the beginning of November by the time we got it re-inspected and ready to go on the market. So a good 6 months, turnkey from start to finish on this project. And so tile floors, new doors, new door hardware, the hinges, all the AC, from the grills, thermostats, everything on this house is redone. And when you think about, doorknobs and light fixtures, and, let me know what you think about that tile floor. A lot of people were saying, oh, you're not going to go with laminate, but I think the tile floor on this pier and beam house really came out really good. Gives it a solid feel when you walk on it. And then, so we just did a white interior, white box special, all the doors, all the walls, all the trim, all pretty much white paint. And then they can take it from there if they want to change the colors. But this color scheme's worked out pretty good for us in the past with our fix and flip houses that we've done. And so that's what it costs to flip this house. 671 square feet. I think I purchased it for right at $63,000. And the remodel ended up costing more than the actual house itself, about $85,000 approximately. And we listed it for $215 thereabouts. And so I think it'll end up being an okay flip for us in the end. It just took longer than we anticipated, took more money than we anticipated, and there was definitely some turns and twists along the way. So that's what it cost to take this house all the way down to the studs, rebuild it, put it back together. $85,000, about 6 or 7 dumpster loads of construction debris and demolition debris of ripping this stuff out. So let me know what you thought about the finished product from where we started. There's a few other videos on this Tired Landlord fix and flip project that we did. Feel free to check those out. Let me know in the comments what you thought. If you would, subscribe to the channel. Appreciate you watching the videos. Give me a thumbs up and let me know what you thought about the finished product here. And we will see you on the next one. Thanks again.